What if your child saw someone who looked exactly like you, in a place you've never been? That's what happened to me, and it changed everything I thought I knew about myself. It started with a whisper, a small voice in the back seat. "Mommy, why were you standing in the window of the blue house?" I glanced at her through the rearview mirror. My daughter, Lucy, was 6. Her voice was calm, curious, as if she were asking why birds fly or why the sky is blue. "What window, sweetie?" "The one in the house on Maple Street. You were there when we passed. You waved at me." A chill crawled up my spine. "Honey, I've been with you this whole time. I didn't wave at you from any window." She tilted her head, frowning. "But it looked just like you." I laughed it off. A child's imagination. Maybe she saw a woman with the same hair, the same height. Kids mix things up all the time, right? But that night, as I tucked her into bed, she looked at me and said, "She smiled the same way you do. Only her smile was sad." Something in her tone made my stomach twist. The next morning, I took a walk down Maple Street just to see. It was quiet. Old houses, chipped paint, sleepy porches. Then I saw it, the blue house. The blinds in the front window were pulled halfway up. The glass was clean, almost too clean. And for just a moment, I felt watched. I shook it off and walked home. Still, all day, Lucy's words echoed in my mind. "She smiled the same way you do." That night, I found an old photo album from my grandmother's attic. Lucy had never seen it before. I flipped through the pages with her on my lap. Pictures of me as a child, my parents, my sister. Then, she pointed at a picture I didn't recognize. A black and white photo of a woman standing on a porch in front of the blue house. "That's her," Lucy said. "That's the lady I saw." I stared at the photo. It looked like me. Not just similar, identical. Only this photo was from 1974. I brought the photo to my mother the next day. She stared at it for a long time. "Where did you find this?" she asked quietly. "In Grandma's attic," I said. "Do you know who she is?" My mother hesitated. Then, almost in a whisper, "That's Helen." "Helen who?" She didn't answer. Instead, she got up, walked into the kitchen, and poured herself a glass of wine. It was 10 in the morning. "She was your grandmother's sister," she finally said. "But we weren't supposed to talk about her." The more questions I asked, the more resistance I felt, but I needed to know. That night, after Lucy went to bed, I searched through Old Town records online. Helen Roslyn, 1947 to 1975, died under mysterious circumstances. No husband, no children, lived alone in the house on Maple Street. She would have been 28 when she died, my age exactly. And the photo? It had been taken just 1 year before she passed. I went back to the house. This time, I knocked on the door. No one answered. I looked around. It didn't seem abandoned. Curtains hung neatly. The garden was overgrown, but not wild. Like someone lived there, quietly. I left a note in the mailbox. To the current owner. "I believe I may be related to Helen Roslyn. Please contact me." I included my number. 2 days later, I got a text. No name. Just, "Come tomorrow. Noon. No questions outside." I showed up at 11:59, heart pounding. The door creaked open before I knocked. A woman stood there. She was maybe 60. Stern face, piercing eyes. "You look just like her," she said. "Like who?" "Come in." The living room was dim, but clean. The walls were covered in photographs, black and white, faded, all of the same woman, Helen, and all of them looked like me. "Are you family?" I asked. The woman didn't answer. She just said, "Helen didn't die in that house. She disappeared, but not before saying she had a twin." "A twin?" I echoed, "but there's no record of that." The woman, her name was Margaret, just nodded slowly. "There wouldn't be. She said her twin was taken, at birth, given away, hidden." I frowned. Why would anyone do that? Margaret sighed. "Helen believed your family, your grandmother, maybe even the church, was involved in something secret. She said she kept seeing her double as a child. Said the other girl was always far away, but watching." I felt cold all over. That sounds like a hallucination. Margaret raised an eyebrow. "Then explain your daughter." She was right. Lucy didn't know anything about Helen. She didn't even know about the photo, and yet she had seen someone who looked exactly like me in the window of Helen's old house. Margaret handed me a dusty notebook. "Helen's journal. I've kept it safe." I opened it. The handwriting was shaky, uneven. Some pages were scratched out entirely, but over and over again, one phrase appeared. "She lives where I should have lived. She walks where I should have walked. She took my name." That night, I couldn't sleep. I stared at myself in the mirror. Same face as the woman in the photo. Same hairline, same mole under the left eye. I whispered, "Who are you?" And for just a second, I thought the reflection didn't move when I did. The next morning, Lucy refused to go near Maple Street. "She's still there," she said. "She doesn't like that we're watching her." "Who is she, Lucy?" Lucy looked at me confused. "You, but not you." I ordered a DNA kit the same night, swabbed my cheek, sent it in. 3 weeks of waiting. During that time, everything began to feel hollow. My parents, my childhood home, even my own memories, they all started to feel borrowed. I began avoiding mirrors. I caught Lucy staring at me sometimes, quietly. She didn't smile. Then the results came. No match to either of my parents. Not even distant relation. I was not their daughter. At least, not biologically. I called my mother. "You said I was born early, that there were complications, that I almost died." "Yes," she replied cautiously. "Did I come from the hospital? Or from somewhere else?" There was silence. Then, "We don't talk about that. You lied to me." Click. She hung up. I returned to Margaret's house. I told her everything. She nodded, like she had always known. Helen said someone took her child, a baby girl. "Are you saying I'm that child?" She didn't answer. She just placed a small box in my hands. "Helen left this with me. She said someday the other would come." Inside was a silver necklace, a tiny pendant, the letter H. I had seen it before, in the old photo Lucy pointed to. Helen had been wearing it. And I had a matching birthmark, on my left shoulder. Same shape, same spot. That night I asked Lucy again, "What did the other me do when you saw her?" She paused. She didn't wave this time. She looked mad. "Mad?" Lucy nodded. She said, "This isn't yours." The blue house stood silent when I came back. It was dusk, that strange in-between hour where everything feels like memory. I stood at the front gate, holding Helen's necklace in my hand. The H glinted in the fading sun. I walked up the steps slowly. The door creaked open. No one had locked it. Inside, quiet. The air smelled like lavender and something older. Dust, wood, forgotten time. I walked into the front room, and there on the wall was a mirror. I hadn't noticed it before. It was large, old, silver-framed. The glass was rippled, like water that had once frozen and melted again. I looked into it, and for a moment, just one moment, my reflection didn't move. She stood there. Same face, same hair. But her eyes were hollow. She looked at the necklace in my hand, and then down at her own neck. Empty. Then she raised her hand and mouthed something I couldn't hear. "Give it back." I stumbled backward. The mirror didn't shatter, but I felt a pain in my chest, like something was pulling. I ran from the house. Outside, Lucy was waiting by the gate. She looked up at me calmly. "You saw her again, didn't you?" I nodded. She took my hand. She's not angry anymore. That night, I placed the necklace in a wooden box. Locked it. Buried it in the backyard. Not to hide it, but to give it rest. Helen had been forgotten. Erased. But maybe now, she could finally sleep. And me? I still see my reflection. It still follows me. But now, when I look into my own eyes, I don't see someone stolen. I see someone returned. Thank you for listening to my story. What would you do if someone lived your life before you? If this story made you feel something, fear, sadness, curiosity, please like, subscribe, and share with someone who loves a good mystery. And remember, sometimes the life we live is borrowed from someone who never got the chance.